That nigga stole on you that fucking stop.
In the mix.
Yo, yeah,
Nigga hit you like the ref hit you.
I couldn't see him.
hey,
That's back in the headshot.
hand down, man down.
Back in the headshot.
Hand down, man down. Right there.
The best. I promise you none of these niggas gonna beat me. None of them. I'm gonna make an example out of Tio. That's the only thing I love. I promise they got me.
This is honestly the most flawless from 123 all the way down to 114. Since then, he's had his shares of victories.
Shakur Stevenson has put on considerable weight, building muscle as he gets ready to face Teofimo Lopez at a 140-pound catch weight on January 31st.
Work hard, sacrifices, discipline, time away from my family. How you gonna beat me? Ain't no way you can beat me that way, bro. Keep saying I'm the best. Because I don't want this shit more than me. I know it. I know it. I want this so bad. So bad. Shit easy, gang.
Easy, man.
Easy.
Always easy, man.
You already know.
Always easy, man.
This supposed to be a sprint.
Let's go.
This ain't no sprint.
No, it's a job. Let's go.
Focused during his training camp, he is putting in relentless work, honing his skills, increasing his strength, and pushing his limits to come out on top in the upcoming bout.
Both legs, bang, hit it for 3. We wrestling, we did 3 more. And we're trying to get that 1.0 meters per second, maximize our power. Had you at about 120, 125, but we're gonna add some reps and lighten the weight a little bit.
Terrence Crawford often trains alongside Shakur Stevenson, offering guidance, sharing techniques, and sparring intensely. These sessions challenge Stevenson to sharpen his skills, strengthen his mindset, and build resilience, providing lessons that go far beyond the ring.
How was this ever? There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go.
God
There you go, bro. He trying to run me into the wall. Y'all didn't see that? He's trying. Man, I performed. You know that.
You bullshit.
I told y'all what I was gonna do. I was gonna come out here and beat his ass every game. And look, he's thinking about saying.
Shakur Stevenson is concentrating on enhancing his speed, sharpening his footwork, and refining his punches and reactions to overwhelm opponents with quick, precise movements. While Teofimo Lopez acknowledges Stevenson's impressive skill at 135 pounds, he remains uncertain about how he will perform at 140 pounds, knowing that the upcoming fight will reveal how well Stevenson adjusts to the higher weight.
Honestly, the most flawless from 123 all the way down to 114. Since then, he's had his shares of victories. I think 135 was his top tier. 140, I think we just gotta wait and see. You know what I mean? And for him to even come up to do that, you know, I think he deserves his flowers for everyone else out there. You know, guys trying to go more down into the ranks of top 5, top 3, and eventually top 1 for pound.
But that ain't what you said, bro.
What'd I say?
I gotta remind you, you said basically I'm good at the lower weight classes. The only way that I'm going to be good is I fight at 126 pounds against guys like Inoue. But once I move up, you're gonna, I can't compete at this level at that weight class.
Carver approaches this fight with the perspective of a seasoned boxer who looks beyond records and recent performances. He stresses that Teofimo Lopez cannot be evaluated solely based on his last few bouts. Lopez still possesses natural athletic gifts, speed, strength, and explosiveness that cannot simply be taught, and those abilities make him a threat to anyone in the division. Tarver cautions that danger doesn't vanish just because confidence falters. A fighter like Lopez only needs a single opening to turn a fight around, meaning that against a technical boxer like Shakur Stevenson, even a brief lapse in focus or a small mistake could have serious consequences.
Possess?
Yeah, I mean, smart money would be on the boxer, Shakur Stevenson, winning the decision. But, if Lopez can make this fight, a lot tougher than expected, and he's going to have to exchange with Shakur. He's a fast fighter. We don't know who's the quickest or fastest here. You have to give the speed edge to Shakur. But if Lopez can punch with this fast guy, make him a little bit cautious and a little bit leery of what's coming back, that serves him well. But Teofimo is one of the best conditioned fighters out there. If this fight goes late, you can expect him to be pushing forward round 9, 10, and 11 if it goes late.
Yeah, a big question is always like what Teo is going to show up. And like when everyone's counted out Teo, it's actually been the times where he's like upset people, like against Lomachenko, against Josh Taylor. Fights to the level of his competition. And I've been thinking like, hey, if we get the best version of Teo, like the Teo that showed up for those fights, does that Teo beat the best Shakur?
It would have to, I think that's the only chance he got, is to really be his ultra self, doing all the things that makes him Teofimo Lopez. The footwork could be a major advantage for him, being able to get inside. A lot of times he fights free. He don't really have a style. He does what it takes. And he's a gutsy fighter. Real gutsy. He's not going to be leery to take chances. He's a gambler in there. You know what I'm saying? So he's a live underdog, I would say. A live underdog, but if he's to win this fight, I think he has to.
Zab Judah sees this matchup as a true showdown of elite skill, rather than just a fight fueled by hype. He views both competitors as fully committed to proving their superiority, neither willing to yield mentally or physically. From Judah's perspective, this isn't about where size or power alone will decide the outcome. It's a test of who can effectively apply their abilities under pressure. With both fighters known for their confidence and discipline, he expects a contest marked by constant adjustments and high intensity. Judah believes that the determination of neither fighter to back down is what makes this matchup special, transforming it into a genuine test of skill rather than a simple showcase.
It's two dog fighters. You got two dog fighters that's coming in there to solidify themselves as the game changer. Teo's not gonna lay down. Shakur is not gonna lay down. It's gonna be skill versus skill. Teo's a very talented, skillful fighter. Shakur is a very extremely talented, skillful fighter. And yes, we're going to see a hell of a great chess match that night.
Yeah, I believe so. Now, I think in your earlier predictions, you felt like Shakur will be stopping Teo? Am I right?
Annihilation, decapitation. Is that what you're talking about? You going back to my comments? Yeah. I feel like Teo's a very dominant force, but I just think that the skills of Shakur Stevens is gonna overwhelm Teo. It's gonna overwhelm. Yeah. He's never seen this type of action before yet.
Now,
no disrespect. Okay. It's my little man, you know what I'm saying? Just saying, yo, it is what it is.
Looking at, the stats, the resumes, we see that, Teo has been at this high level for a long time. Right. When it comes to Shakur Stevenson, his amateur record speaks for itself, but at the same time, not necessarily getting the notable names that people know in America. People are also saying that they're kind of discrediting Shakur's resume, saying he hasn't really fought anybody. Teofimo Lopez would be that first person. Do you feel like that could be something that, I don't know, it could be a lot closer than what people think?
I mean, listen, the fight's gonna be a lot closer than people think. We just blabbing our mouth and running off what we think our professional opinion is. These are two talented, great young fighters in here. You know what I'm saying? Teo's not gonna back down. Shakur's not gonna back down. We're gonna get an exciting 12-round fights or however long it should last. We're gonna have an exciting fight. And I'm expecting both guys to come in there and leave everything they got.
Shakur Stevenson presents a challenge that few fighters can solve. Instead of relying on sheer aggression or a high punch volume, he asserts control in a more calculated manner. Stevenson focuses on minimizing openings rather than forcing the action, gradually taking away his opponent's options and dictating the pace on his terms. His defensive awareness, precise positioning, and sharp timing make every exchange difficult to navigate, forcing opponents to work harder for clean shots and often leaving them frustrated as the fight progresses.
Stevenson really might 12-0 Teofimo Lopez. People love talking about this resume that Teofimo Lopez has. Granted, it's a really good resume. He has guys like Lomachenko under his belt, Josh Taylor. But if I'm being honest, Josh Taylor played into what Teofimo Lopez wanted him to do so perfectly. Lomachenko, he lost that fight more than Teofimo won that fight, if I'm being honest. And against lower level competition, like a Steve Claggett, like a Jermaine Ortiz, like a Kambosos.
This method makes Stevenson both unpredictable and frustrating for opponents. He rarely reveals patterns, and when a rival tries to adjust, he adapts instantly. Against a fighter like Lopez, who relies on rhythm, confidence, and momentum, Stevenson's style becomes particularly dangerous. His ability to disrupt his opponent's flow before it fully develops can neutralize Lopez's natural strengths. What sets Stevenson apart further is his composure. He stays calm under pressure and rarely panics when the fight shifts. This steadiness allows him to read opponents in real time and make subtle but decisive adjustments. Facing Stevenson requires patience, discipline, and emotional control, qualities that challenge even the most skilled athletes. For Lopez, this fight is as much a mental test as it is a physical one.
Talk about a focused Teo. Teo was only unfocused with one fight his whole life, and that was George Kambosos, and that's the only fight I'll give y'all. No matter who Shakur fought, he's looked great against everybody. No matter it's the bums that y'all say he fights or the number one guys in the division, Shakur Stevenson has dominated everybody. It's gonna be a sight to see. Shakur Stevenson on fight night is going to make fireworks happen, and I can't wait to see it. I've already gave my stance on this, but Shakur Stevenson it's just his time, and Teo's just...
Lopez's career took a noticeable turn after his loss to George Kambosos, a defeat that interrupted the momentum he had previously carried with confidence. Before that fight, his performances demonstrated sharp focus and consistent execution. Since then, his results in the ring have been more uneven, showing flashes of brilliance alongside moments of lapses in discipline. Still, inconsistency doesn't diminish his danger. Lopez remains a formidable opponent, particularly in the early rounds when his energy is high and his confidence fuels his offensive output.
Teofimo hurt Shakur with one shot. Can you hurt him clean? He hasn't been a killer, as much of a killer at 140. And after Kambosos, he hasn't been the same, in my opinion. But he's still explosive and still dangerous in the first 7 rounds. You know what I'm saying? First 8 rounds. So I think it's a good fight. I like the fight, actually, because of that. Teofimo got the explosive punching power on his side and good athleticism. And Shakur has, superior boxing IQ, good range, good distance. So it's great. It's good boxer versus good athlete at this point. So I like the fight. I don't say it's 50-50. I say it's 60-40 Shakur. But I like Teofimo's chances in this fight. You know what I'm saying? If Teofimo makes this a fight and comes out early and attacks and gets right up on Shakur.
Lopez's greatest asset remains his ability to generate sudden, explosive power. Even when he seems off balance or out of rhythm, a single burst can completely shift the momentum of a fight. This unpredictability keeps opponents constantly on edge, knowing that control can vanish in an instant. Analysts note that while his consistency has fluctuated, his physical gifts, speed, strength, and overall athleticism remain intact. This mix creates a volatile dynamic, where flashes of brilliance are often paired with costly errors. Against a composed and patient fighter like Stevenson, that volatility is amplified. A perfectly timed strike could produce a fight-changing moment, while a loss of focus could compound frustration. If Stevenson can maintain distance and dictate the pace, Lopez may find himself overreaching, missing opportunities, and growing increasingly exasperated.
De Los Santos. You're going to see De Los Santos Part 2. and he's just gonna get on his bicycle, which we don't want to see, or he's gonna have to fight. And and I think Teofimo is a guy that can make Shakur fight because he can cut off the ring well enough. You know what I'm saying? I think he can stay with him well enough where he can turn this into a fight, and it'll be exciting for him if he does. I think Shakur, like a lot of fighters, he needs this name in order to silence a lot of the naysayers. Because people talk a lot of shit about Shakur, especially after the De Los Santos fight. I don't think, the Zabata fight took it off of him, even though they tried to make it seem like it.
Tim Bradley sees this matchup as a clash of contrasting styles, where raw explosiveness meets measured control. From his perspective, Teofimo Lopez relies on sudden movements and sharp bursts of energy to generate offense seemingly out of nowhere. His speed and athleticism serve as tools to overwhelm opponents before they can establish a rhythm. Lopez aims to create chaos early, provoking reactions and seizing on hesitation with powerful shots that can instantly alter the course of the fight.
Understand that, but it's the feet. The feet is what gets you in position to be able to land those shots. Footwork is extremely important. When I look at both these guys and I look at Shakur's footwork, I look at Teo's footwork, and what I noticed about Teo's footwork in particular is that in order to be able to throw with the amount of power that he has, I've noticed with Teo, there's always a subtle pause before he actually explodes. And Teo's a guy that likes to explode into contact, like to explode into his opponents, man, to land his offense. Fast, twitchy type muscles, fibers, he's extremely fast. Some may say that, his twitchiness kind of reminds him of like Roy Jones-esque type of, movements, how quick he's able to close that distance on his opposition.
According to Bradley, the fight won't be determined by who throws the most punches or displays the most aggression. Instead, the winner will be the fighter who controls the pace and flow of the bout, dictating how and where it unfolds while forcing the opponent to react.
It's the feet. The feet is what gets you in position to be able to land those shots. Footwork is extremely important. When I look at both these guys and I look at Shakur's footwork, I look at Teo's footwork, and what I noticed about Teo's footwork in particular is that in order to be able to throw with the amount of power that he has, I've noticed with Teo, there's always a subtle pause before he actually explodes. And Teo's a guy that likes to explode into contact, like to explode into his opponents, man, to land his offense. Fast, twitchy type muscles, fibers, he's extremely fast. Some may say that, his twitchiness kind of reminds him of like Roy Jones-esque type of, movements, how quick he's able to close that distance on his opposition. However, he's in there with a guy that is a master at controlling distance. That's he's a master at literally, getting in his position, right? In the position where he wants to be and taking away your positioning. And with doing so, he takes away your feet, and that's why I think feet are going to be extremely important in this. If you can keep your opponent off balance, for instance, let me just give you an example. It's like Teo explodes. There's a subtlety before he explodes with his offense. And as soon as Shakur sees that, he's anticipating something to come. He knows he's going to explode in. So what does Shakur do? Teo takes a big step in.
As he talks about the upcoming fight, Stevenson exudes calm confidence. He doesn't shy away from criticism, nor does he seem unsettled by doubt. Instead, he views this matchup as another step in his career progression. His confidence comes from thorough preparation rather than empty bravado. Stevenson speaks with the poise of someone comfortable under scrutiny, trusting that his skills will speak louder than anyone's opinions. This mental composure could prove vital against a fighter as emotionally intense as Lopez, showing that Stevenson is ready for both the physical and psychological demands of the bout.
It's cool. I mean, that's their opinion. Like, they could say that. But I know he never fought nobody on my level. Like, I'm 1,000,000% sure that Tio has never seen nobody as good as me in his life.
He's talking about like once he gets through you, then he wants Crawford, names like that. How do you think he would do against someone like Terrence at this point?
I think he gets knocked out.
Can't even hang with him.
Yeah, he's too little. Bud is too big for him.
Right. As far as skills, though, do you think he's on par with the likes of Terrence?
I'm not gonna say he's on a Terrence Crawford level of skills, but he's very skillful. He got a lot of things with him that puts him at a high level.
One thing that was interesting to me was it seemed like you were going to move on from Matchroom, but now Eddie Hearn is involved in this, and this is a Matchroom event. It seems like, I know it's a ring card too, but he's promoting it here in the United States. So what is the state of your relationship with Eddie and Matchroom at this point?
Eddie's my guy. I'm actually not signed to Matchroom, but he's my guy. I'm a big fan of Eddie Hearn, and nothing but respect to him. But I'm glad he's the promoter that's on this card. I'm glad to share the spotlight with his promotional company.
So if he's your guy, how come you're not signed to Matchroom?
I mean, it's just business. If it makes sense, then I will. You know, if it come down to it and that's what makes sense, then we'll do it. But right now, I don't think it makes sense.
Okay, so are you just more of like your own man at this point? Your own entity?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Do you negotiate with the ring people, with Turkey? You just do that yourself?
No, me and my manager.
And that's a wrap for today's video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for the next one.